Okay, so I did accidentally end the last video, but it's fine because it was about time anyway. And here we go. New missions are available. Can one be for SERIN by any chance, since I chose him? That would be nice. I still don't know what these are, and it's very confusing. Alright. Even from afar, I can hear the bustle of activity and see colourful flags spreading across the field. I actually kind of want the guide open, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like it's my crutch now. We are at 26, right? 25? 25. It seems like every noble house in the kingdom is present on the hunting ground today. Aristocrats sit astride chargers and are armed with boar spears. They gesture emphatically at each other and occasionally towards the sunlit forest. Tables are set but remain empty at the moment. The servants must have worked all night to prepare such an impressive amount of food. Nearby merchants hawk loudly from their stands, selling cool drinks, sweetmeats, and grindstones. And of course, commoners mill about too, some as spectators and others as footmen and valets. A bit further away, I spot Councillor Gabrielle and her escorts. Surprisingly, she doesn't seem to mingle with the Eskian nobility. I suppose she must enjoy the thrill of the hunt on her own. Of course, the princes are here too. Aurelius, aloof and haughty, Nazir cheerfully trying to balance his boar spear on his palm. And SERIN, who stands at my side. You may not be able to tell, but Aurelius has been looking forward to today. Has he? He looks the same as ever. Prince SERIN chuckles softly as if to say, of course he does. Suddenly, Prince Aurelius looks our way and gives us an ironic salute with his saber. Did he somehow sense that we were talking about him? Prince SERIN replies by giving a salute of his own. In response, his brother's stoic expression briefly breaks into a grin. Then it fades and he looks away. My brother is eager to take the boar for himself. If you have no desire to kill it, I'd ask that you leave it for him. I intend to do the same. Gladly, Your Highness. My voice betrays just how relieved I am. As we wait for things to begin, Prince SERIN explains the art of par force hunting to me. We will hunt with hounds, horses, and spears. No bows and arrows are needed. If the situation calls for it, boars can run faster than horses and even hounds, so a great deal of persistence and technique are needed to pursue it. But as long as we trail a bit behind the others, there should be little chance we'll run into the boar, correct? Prince SERIN nods and gives me a reassuring smile, then hesitates for a heartbeat before adding, "Stay close to me, Valkii." Excitement surges through me, and what the prince said was so unexpected that I don't even think to tease him about it. I lower my gaze, if only he doesn't see my brief blush. All right. At the head of the gathering, Garion breaks away from an animated discussion with the houndsman and strides onto a makeshift wooden platform, then makes an announcement. Ready the hunt. The crowd of excited aristocrats roars back at him enthusiastically. The hunt is on! Tally-ho! He holds his boar spear high to emphasize the point. The rest of us follow suit, and the field glitters with raised pikes. Tally-ho, tally-ho, tally-ho. Chanting the war cry and throbbing with barely restrained bloodlust, the hunting party streams into the forest. Let's go. I nod. The commoners follow behind us, thoroughly thrilled by the festivities. Tally-ho, tally-ho, tally-ho. Soon the hounds pick up the scent. After exchanging a glance with Garion, the houndsman loosens his grip and the dogs spring forward all at once. A long whoop of delight crashes through the forest. The party darts after the pack with Prince Aurelius at its front. As Prince SERIN anticipated, following an unseen boar pursued by an equally unseen pack of hounds is tricky. The minutes pass by, huntsmen fall away from the rest of us in twos and threes, bewildered by the forest's twists and turns. A few bring their exhausted horses to a stop, as do some who, perhaps, were never really eager to fight a boar in the first place. Thankfully, Prince SERIN appears at my side and nudges me in the right direction whenever I'm in danger of losing my way. Leaves and branches fly past. In all the excitement, the sun is blurry and bright. My mount's galloping hooves carry me through the brown and green foliage, and the wind cuts into my face as we go. Over time, the hound's baying grows louder and louder. My hands tighten around the reins as we draw closer to a nearby riverbank. We have him. At the front, Prince Aurelius comes to a stop and everyone else follows his lead. I look up and see our quarry for the first time. It's nearly as tall as a horse and is covered in a coat of thick, rough bristles. At the moment, it's fording the river as if knowing that will mask its scent. Its tusks are coated in fresh blood, far more than what it could have drawn from any regular prey. I suppose a few dogs won't be returning to the royal kennel tonight. Suddenly, the boar raises its head. The two of us make eye contact for a long, uncomfortable moment, and then it bellows a challenge. Watch out! Faster than the eye can follow, the beast throws itself at me with all its weight. I steady my grip on the reins and kick my horse to evade the boar's charge, and just in time too. Before I can ready my spear, however, there's a blur of movement beside me. Ah! Prince Aurelius' hand is steady and his aim is true. He rams the full length of his spearhead into the beast, stopped only by the crossguard, and the boar is brutally driven to the ground. Freak! Grunting and panting, the boar bucks with all its might in an attempt to dislodge the spear from its hide. The prince strains to keep both his grip on the weapon and his seat on his horse. Soon enough, the other huntsmen catch up. They dismount and rush to aid the prince, unsheathing falchions? I don't know how to say that, actually. That's very weird. Swords and sabers in the process. Valkii! Prince SERIN rides up to my side, his face anxious and unhappy. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. I'm all right, Your Highness. He scrutinizes me for a long moment, then sighs. I'm glad. The boar squeals and its struggles to escape become even more frantic. The ring of hunters closes in, since everyone is eager to land the killing blow. I'm glad too. I murmur, then turn away so I don't have to see the beast's last moments. I turn to Prince SERIN and... Watch out! An instinct translates a glint in the undergrowth into a warning. Certain leaves and branches rustle, even though there isn't any wind to move them. Thanks to my warning, Prince SERIN moves at the last possible second. An arrow passes where his neck would have been, then soars into the undergrowth. Then his horse lets out a shrill whinny and starts bucking. Calm down. The prince, already startled by the near miss, has some difficulty keeping his hands on the reins. SERIN! A particularly violent spasm throws him to the ground, and I barely manage to cast levitation in time. There's only an inch between Prince SERIN and the forest floor when the spell takes effect, slowing the possibly fatal fall. I sigh in relief, but my heart fills with dread again a moment later. The horse, having shaken off its rider, is galloping about, mindlessly kicking and trampling in all directions. At any moment, one of those hooves could strike a prone and helpless SERIN, and... I said, calm down. A faint nimbus glows around the prince's brow, and a halo appears over the rampaging steed. Its agitated movements slow down, then stop altogether. Despite the dangerous situation we were in moments ago, I can't help but feel delight, even pride, if only as a teacher, at Prince SERIN's display of light magic. Are you hurt, Your Highness? I dismount my horse and rush to him, keeping an eye out for more arrows. Thankfully, there are none. I'm alright, thanks to your quick acting. The nobles, who managed to finish off the boar while we were distracted, hurry over. To be honest, I never thought I'd be happy to see them, but I am. Valkii, where is the arrow? Huh? I thought it looked like... No, that's irrelevant. Please help me look for it. Before I can ask why, Prince SERIN's sharp and urgent demeanor cuts me off. I decide that the questions can wait and start combing through the undergrowth. Because I focused my efforts on where I saw the arrow disappear, it doesn't take long before solid wood and stiff feathers brush the edge of my palm. Here it is. I walk over to the prince, who wordlessly whisks the arrow out of my hands. Then he inspects it for a long moment and slides it into his tunic. Please don't tell anyone you found this. My jaw drops and I shoot him a blank stare. Please trust me for now, Valkii. I'll explain everything as soon as I can. Alright. I gingerly throw one of Prince SERIN's arms around my shoulder. Supporting himself with me on one side and a tree trunk on the other, he slowly rises to his feet. Did you sprain anything? I can... SERIN! Prince Aurelius places himself in front of his brother, almost as if trying to shield him with his body. Are you hurt? Do you need medical attention? I'm so used to Prince Aurelius's usual coldness that his concern startles me almost as much as the arrow did. No, I'm fine. More and more hunters assemble around us with every passing second. Everyone tries their best to explain what happened, or rather what they think happened. Your Highness. Garion and a few royal guards appear, causing a fresh ripple of excitement to wash over the crowd. Upon seeing them, Prince SERIN rises to his feet, trying and failing to seem as nonchalant as possible. Please say you're well, Your Highness. I'll never forgive myself if you come to harm because of my negligence. At ease, Garion. I'm perfectly fine. Thank goodness. I'd heard that assassins... We don't know if that was what they were. All eyes fall on the prince when his cool, firm voice cuts Garion off. It could have been a peasant hoping to catch a small prey when no one was looking. So someone did shoot an arrow at you. It isn't often that Prince SERIN seems nervous, but he bites his lower lip. Whatever his reasons, I suppose he doesn't want to make a big deal out of this. Just as I'm thinking about how to help him, Prince Aurelius's cold gaze falls on me and I freeze. He narrows his eyes, scrutinizes me for a moment, and turns to Prince SERIN again. Understood. Your Highness? Garion, have your guards scour the area. Look for everyone carrying, or who was seen carrying, bows, arrows, and other ranged weapons. If there are commoners, round them up as well. Turning back to us, the prince gives a curt nod. I will personally question them later. Prince SERIN heaves a sigh of relief, but he hasn't mentioned the arrow even once. It seems that whatever I'm missing, Prince Aurelius has caught it. Thank you. Garion, perhaps as confused as I am, hesitates for a moment before complying. Yes, Your Highness. You heard the princes, all of you, spread out. The guards immediately do so, and far faster than I've ever seen armoured men move. Prince SERIN and I exchange a quick glance. He gives his head a tiny, almost imperceptible shake. I reply by bowing in acquiescence. By nightfall, everyone has returned to the royal palace. Although the morning's hunt should have been considered wildly successful, with Prince Aurelius taking the boar, the mood is tense. A dozen or so commoners have been rounded up by Garion's guards and are waiting to be questioned by Prince Aurelius. Prince Nazir, returning from who knows where, seems like the only excited person in the dining hall. But even his cheerful behaviour can't seem to lift the solemn atmosphere. After dinner, I find myself alone in my chambers with Prince SERIN. I'm sorry, Lady Rosencruz. As he apologizes, the prince lowers his head. I suppose he might be more uncomfortable with where we are than I am, but it's our best chance at privacy. I give a small, almost dismissive wave in response. There's no need to apologize, Your Highness. We have more pressing issues to discuss. For example, why did you want to hide the arrow? Prince SERIN reaches into his clothes, produces a small case and opens the lid. Inside it is the arrow, which is short, thick, and dark. The feathers are still stiff and gleam in the light. Note the marking. Marking? Just below the arrowhead. I bring the arrow close to my face and examine it more carefully. Sure enough, there's a tiny crest next to the head. If SERIN hadn't brought my attention to it, I never would have noticed. I frown. It seems familiar, but I can't recall where I saw it. You're very perceptive, Your Highness. Hardly. Councillor Gabrielle was showing me the new batch of arrows she commissioned last week. I double take and my face turns pale. Councillor? That's right. The same wings are embroidered on Lady Gabrielle's cape. However, why would an arrow she commissioned be aimed at one of Eskia's princes? Your Highness, I haven't interacted with her much, but I don't think she would be stupid or bold enough to sign a murder weapon. I don't think so either. It seems like a setup to me, with the intent of creating friction between Eskia and Marin. So someone wants to make peace negotiations fail. Prince SERIN gives a grim nod. So that's why he didn't want anyone to find the arrow. The gossiping nobles would have certainly had a field day. Ever since my father's death, the relationship between our two kingdoms has worsened. Right now, even the slightest bit of friction is dangerous. I plan to investigate this on my own, since I know that, with a little time, I'm almost certain to uncover something. Until then, though, I'd like you to keep this a secret. Very well, my lips are sealed. I'm grateful for your help, as always. Prince SERIN retrieves the arrow and stands up. If you'll excuse me, Lady Rosencruz. Valkii. Prince hesitates for only a second, only for a rare, playful smile to flash across his face. Valkii, then. Good night. Sleep well. I watch his back as he goes. In the flickering candlelight, Prince SERIN's slim, solitary figure seems small and vulnerable. And stay safe. He raises a hand and waves without turning around, then leaves the room. In the end, I'm left alone, with only my anxiousness to keep me company. SERIN, I pray for your safety. Achievement unlocked. Cool. Alright, have we got any other requests? Nope. What about missions? Tea extract. Okay, but how do we know who... does it not even matter? Wait, there's even more. I have 164 gold coins, whatever you want to call it. Jesus, that's very expensive, and that's a lot. Darkness and water and light. There's just no way I'm gonna be able to do all of this. There's just no way. There is literally no way. Okay, so my intelligence is pretty fucking good now. Let's get charisma up. Yes, you can continue with your darkness. But then again, let's put the darkness there. And you are... Okay, that's fine. The wood still needs to go up, though. And you are learning fire for whatever reason. I don't even know anymore. What was it that... This one. So these two are actually fine. It's water that he needs to learn. Oh, which he's also fine with, pretty much. Wait, let me check again. 50 light, 110 dark. Alright, let's get his darkness up to what it's needed to be, and then the light will also go up to what it's needed to be. You never know, you just never know. And you are... Yes. Okay, everything's fine. Everything's fine in this instance. We probably have a while to go. I mean, I assume they've paced this well. 5, 5, 2. Sorry, it's just not good enough. 2. When you start off with a 2, at least you save me time. 3, 4, 4. Not good enough. We'll do one more and then I will pause. 5, 5, 6. Cool, we don't have to pause. Oops, okay. We got some weekly coins too. Let me bring up my thing again. I know that many highborn ladies and some gentlemen spend hours every morning and night being tended to by servants, including their hair, their makeup, and their clothes. In many cases, it is an extension of a noble's daily social routine. Friends and confidants sometimes join them during the various stages of getting dressed and ready. However, Sala's technique is very different from what I imagine nobles usually do. She begins by massaging my temples with oil, which is infused with a soothing spell. Headaches I didn't even realize I had melt away under her soft yet strong fingers, and when she moves to my scalp, it takes everything I have to keep from purring in delight. For a brief moment, all my stresses disappear. I can't help but smile. While she works, Sala begins humming a little melody, one that sounds almost like a lullaby. What is that you're humming, Sala? I do not need to see her to sense the smile on her face as she answers, her fingers still massaging my head. It's an older song. The king used to sing it to the princes when they were young. That explains it, though the melody seems a little odd. Perhaps it isn't Eskian in origin? Whatever it is, there is something vaguely familiar about it. It's definitely old, but then again, most lullabies are. Sala begins brushing my hair. The oil from before helps her slide through it in a gentle, but still firm strokes. Thanks to that and her magic, she doesn't even have to pull on the more problematic areas. Your affinity with the water element is quite miraculous, Sala. Thank you, although it doesn't feel like an affinity, Lady Rosencruz. I simply sit by the spring and collect what I need. Without thinking, I bring my hand up to my throat and feel the pestle markings that form the collar around my neck. This is what makes me different from homunculi like Sala, whose connection to magic is direct. That must also be why she isn't aging while I am. while all of us in-house Rosencrews are. To think that Sala gets to live forever in a young body that was made for her, while my family remains separated from the wellspring of magic that is our birthright. Does your throat hurt, Lady Rosencrews? Do you want me to apply some ointment? No, it's fine. I bring my hand down again, but her fingers briefly stop. She must have caught the slight break in my voice. To distract us both, I force a smile and turn to look at her. I wonder, why are you doing all of this, Sala? I suggestively raise a brow, but she only responds with a predictable, perfectly polite smile. Maybe you're preparing me for a romantic rendezvous? Sense and all? Romantic? She continues brushing my hair, a thoughtful expression on her face. Well, I am preparing you for dinner at the royal table tonight, but Prince SERIN will be the one responsible for making it romantic. Her smile now has the barest hint of impishness in it. Tomato red blush burns my cheeks for a moment, but at least I manage to distract her, albeit only for a moment. A slight shiver of anticipation passes through me. I haven't had time to talk privately with the prince since last week's hunt. Ignoring my embarrassment, Sala starts braiding my hair. I am only here to make sure you look your best. Thank you, Sala. I can tell you've had a hard few weeks, and I figured you would want to look good tonight. Prince SERIN as well, he has been worried about your well-being. He really worries too much about me. I wasn't even the one in danger last week. Not entirely sure how to respond, I accept their concern gracefully. Dinner with Prince SERIN after all this pampering does sound like a wonderful end to today, if nothing else. Oh, I thought it was like broken. Wasn't doing anything. Oh, rustle. Huh? A confused sound escapes my lips as I open my eyes, blinking through the mental haze that comes along with sleep. Raphael's apologetic gaze meets mine. I'm sorry, Lady Rosencrews, I didn't mean to wake you. He shoots me a weak smile, bronze skin gleaming in the candlelight. I notice that he's holding up a thin blanket, and was most likely about to cover me with it. Oh, that's so nice. What the fuck? No. My voice comes out quieter than intended. I must have fallen asleep while doing research. Rubbing my cheeks with one hand, I moved the other to smooth out the pages that were crumpled under my weight. 1 second. Okay. Oops, no. Okay. But seeing as you're now awake, perhaps you should go back to your quarters for well-deserved rest? Whatever research you were committed to, I dare say it can wait until morning, where you can tackle the task with a clear mind. I'll do just that. Thank you for your concern, Raphael. No need, I should be apologizing for your heavy workload. The requests and missions have been coming in with no signs of stopping. You have a tendency to overwork yourself too, Lady Rosencrews, so I should take better care of you. It isn't the workload, but last week's hunt still on my mind. However, I keep that to myself. It's fine, I promise. Well, should you ever feel like it's too much, please tell me. I can reject the requests in your stead. I appreciate it. Words alone cannot express my gratitude toward Raphael, so I leave it at that. I drag myself from my chair and toward the bedroom, but he accompanies me the whole way, as if certain I'm going to keel over somewhere. When we arrive, Raphael lingers outside my door for a moment. Good night, Lady Rosencrews. And good night to you as well, Raphael. Alright, what a sweet man. What a sweet man. Right, what are we... Is there anything we need to make? No, still no. That's fine. 50 light, 110 of everything else. So we're not quite at 110 darkness yet. And then we need to do the water. What are you doing? You have over 100 wind now, so I'll go back to just doing wood for you. And you can just continue learning darkness. I don't know why. But yeah. Okay, we have over 100 of all of our stats needed for SERIN currently, so maybe we should do something else. I don't know what though. Let's just do another round of combat. I just really don't feel like doing any of the missions. Like, I feel like doing this is too important right now anyway. yeah, that's just not good enough. It is just not good enough. Load the data. 5, 2. You started off quite well. Not perfectly, but quite well. You know what? I just don't want to be with a 4. 6, 5, 3. I should take that, really, shouldn't I? I should just take that. Don't really like what's going on here, but you know. Alright, the sun shines down from a cloudless sky. A warm western wind blows pleasantly. Thanks to both, the palace gardens seem especially beautiful today. Right, I need to bring up the guide again, because I like to know what the fuck I'm doing. Okay, there's nothing that happens today, apparently. On days like today, a stroll through the foliage clears my head of cobwebs and prepares me for planning tomorrow's lesson. The garden boasts exotic flowers from distant countries, secluded corners with benches under shade-giving trees, and fountains filled to overflowing with cool water. Sala once mentioned that the late queen had quite a hand in creating the garden's strange beauty. Since then, every time I walk through it, I try to imagine the mysterious queen placing trees and flowers along the gently curving path. This time, my feet lead me to a secluded section I've never visited before, which is hidden behind an ivory-coloured gate. I immediately notice the colour-coordinated plants in silver, white and green. It creates a pleasing, if monochromatic effect. Really, I see yellow, pink, and that's it. Then, in a corner, I discover a patch of flowers standing out like a drop of dark wine on a white napkin. Daring red petals push out of newly turned dirt. Intrigued, I kneel to scrutinize them more closely. They're clearly new, and even my non-gardener eyes can tell someone must have planted them fairly recently. Those seem especially well cared for. They bloom so happily I'm about to search for a gardener to ask when someone speaks up from behind, startling me to attention. Aren't they gorgeous? Calming my racing heart, I turn to face an elderly gentleman, clearly a noble of some kind based on his clothing. My lord, forgive me, I didn't notice your presence. No, I apologize for the fright, young lady. I relax slightly before looking at the flowers, then back to him. They are beautiful, however, I'm afraid I don't recognize them. The nobleman nods and adopts a wistful expression. Those flowers grow only in a certain part of southern Eskia, very close to the border. They are very particular, soil, sunlight, temperature, and so on. All of those must be absolutely ideal. He looks incredibly sad as he speaks and shows barely any sign of acknowledging the plant before us. I once knew a woman who would grow them for me, despite all the time and effort it took. I regard him carefully, sensing that this woman no longer walks among the living. He crouches down and touches one of the petals. She would care for them, water them, and speak to them, all because she knew I loved them so much. I am unsure how to respond. I feel almost like an intruder, but the nobleman does not seem to be mourning so much as reminiscing. It sounds as if her heart was as beautiful as her flowers. I mumble, feeling my face flush slightly. The nobleman simply nods. Father, father, there you are. We both jump this time. Lady Ishbel rushes out from behind a hedge, looking relieved and upset all at once. You shouldn't wander away like that. I was worried for you. Father? That means this nobleman is none other than Count Udes himself. Lady Ishbel. I bow. Only then does she appear to notice my presence, causing her face to flush. Oh, Lady Rosencreuz, my apologies, I didn't see you there. I smile to ease her worry. She curtsies. Your father was just sharing a story about these beautiful flowers, Lady Ishbel. Mentioning the flowers dispels whatever lingering embarrassment she has, and she claps her hands together in delight. Oh yes, those are my penitent lilies. Don't you find them beautiful? I raise an eyebrow. Her flowers in the royal garden. What did you call them? Penitent lily. She nods her head enthusiastically, gathering her skirts so she can crouch closer to them. Nazir, she plucks dry leaves from the flowers with her practiced, deft fingers. Prince Nazir said I could use this flower bed to plant them when I told him how much I missed them. Few noblewomen would be caught on their knees caring for flowers. Then again, Ishbel is hardly like most. An interesting choice of location. Ishbel, happy with the state of her charges, stands and dusts off her dress. I choose not to comment on the lingering stains. I know, Prince Nazir said his mother intended this part of the garden to be filled with all colours of the rainbow. Her face falls a little. It wasn't meant to stay desolated like this. I nod, speechless, to imagine that this part of the garden has been kept in the same state for so long after the Queen's death. What did you wish to find me for, dear? Lady Ishbel jumps up at that, full of enthusiasm once again. I found you some herbs for your indigestion, father. Too much information, young lady. Ah, did you now? He stammers, clearly embarrassed. I quickly turn towards the closest flower, pretending I hadn't heard a thing. Well, we best not keep Lady Rosencruz any longer. Lady Ishbel curtsies, the Count bows, and they take their leave. Lady Ishbel is chatting happily, and while the Count looks a little embarrassed, I can tell he's enjoying her company. I look after them, thoughtful. The woman he spoke of must have been Lady Ishbel's mother. It seemed as though he truly loved her, which makes it all the stranger that Lady Ishbel grew up so poor and unrecognized. There was history there, but it isn't my place to ask such inappropriate questions. It seems Lady Ishbel inherited her mother's delicate touch with flowers. I chuckle to myself. I wonder if she inherited her indelicate way with people from her as well. Right. Anything? Did we have something to give today? I don't know. Either way, we don't have anything to do for a couple of days. In regards to stat checks, come in. I look up from the parchment as Raphael pushes the door open and enters my study. Lady Rosencruz, my deepest apologies for the intrusion. I was hoping to bring you a request from Lady Ceridwen. In need of more cloth for another dress, I assume? I can't help but grin at the thought, even if our last meeting was less than easy. Upon seeing my smile, Raphael dons one of his own. No, not this time. Lady Ceridwen would like to request a bottle of enchanted hair conditioner. I pause and wait, half expecting Raphael to break into laughter and tell me he's joking. He doesn't. Hair conditioner. Indeed. Resisting the urge to rub my eyes, I let out a pained sigh. Raphael, ever the soothing soul, shoots me a sympathetic expression. I thought my title was Royal Tutor, not Royal Coiffeur. Coiffeur. Whatever. It is, which is why you may decline the request if your schedule is too full. Well, time isn't exactly the issue. I'll accept it, I guess. It's fine, I suppose. Let Lady Ceridwen know I will get to it as soon as possible. Certainly, Lady Rosencruz. If you can, please have the item ready in 3 weeks' time. I understand. Put it on my schedule if you don't mind. Certainly. A new recipe has been unlocked. See, this is the only problem. I don't know what I need for the recipe, so I might not be able to make it even. Where is it, even? I don't see it. And I don't know how to... I don't know how to do it. Where is it? Oh, this way. Okay. Oh, good. No one can make it. What a shock. Okay, so darkness and water. Wait, that's Aurelius. Bro. Your water is lacking. Okay. That's fine. Wait, so it's 74 water and... God, there's so much shit. You need 90 water. Great. Well, that's fine. We have a while left. And of course, all the fucking noble shit is expensive as fuck. So annoying. I'll have quite a bit of money at that point, but still annoying. So tomorrow we have to do give that away. That's fine. All right. We're definitely doing this, I'm afraid. So I think what we have going right now is probably fine. You're learning darkness. For what reason again? I can't remember. Whatever. Alright, and as we go, we save it. And we start. 5? 6? 6? Damn! That's good. And that's good too. That's real good. Right, finding Marigold has been more difficult than anticipated, but the last maid I spoke to sent me down this corridor. Soon I hear voices, voices I recognize, and then, oh, you should have seen the look on his face. I wish I had. Softening my footsteps, I walk up to the room and peer inside. After that, Belle bent down herself, picked up the dirty rag and gave it back to the servant. Right in front of the nobleman she bumped into. I stare at the scene, eyes wide. Marigold is sitting on the table, legs dangling, while Prince Nazir is leaning on the back of a chair, though he stands up to make an occasional, very animated hand gesture. Yes, like I said, you should have seen his face. Anyway, it wasn't like he could do anything after that, especially with me there. I think just Lady Ishbel would have been enough, Your Highness. There's no need to pretend you're a knight in shining armor. They laugh, and for a moment I'm not sure why I find it so odd. Then it hits me. Their tones and laughter are perfectly natural. No hushed whispers, no coy smiles. The two of them are friends. Right you are, old girl. Besides, armor doesn't suit me. I'm more of a fluid fighter, you know? Nazir slashes the air with pretend daggers. Marigold sneers, and I'll admit that I cannot help smirking myself. I know you mostly fight with fluids. Beer, ale, wine, mead. Nazir stops and tries to appear wounded, but only manages it for a second before he bursts into laughter again. I clear my throat and knock on the wooden door. The laughter stops, and for a moment the two of them look like rabbits caught out in the open. When I step inside, though, they immediately relax. Valkii! Thank the gods, I thought it was Raphael. You gave us a good fright. Your Highness, Miss Marigold, I was looking for you. Ah, so you already know her. Wonderful. Well, don't let me stop you. I'll just be over here. He moseys off, leaving the two of us alone. The moment Nazir vanishes out of the door, Marigold jumps down from the table, lands and straightens her skirt. Did you need something, Lady Rosencruz? Yes, the healing salve you ordered. Marigold perks up. I pull the jar from my pouch and pass it to her. She takes it with a happy smile. Keep it cold and apply it 2 to 3 times a day. It should work on most wounds. Thank you, Lady Rosencruz. What did you want as payment? I hadn't even thought of that, though her smile feels like payment enough. Besides, the Lord Regent does increase my monthly salary for the efforts. Nothing. I'm happy to help. She looks at me for a moment, then pockets the salve. Even when she looks away, I can tell Marigold is grateful. Well, time to get going. No rest if you work for a living, after all. She curtsies. In response, I start to bow out of reflex, but she stops me. Enough with the bowing. The last thing I need is a scandal. My apologies. I mumble, not sure what to say or do. Marigold offers no alternatives and instead quietly glides out of the room. The moment she's gone, Prince Nazir walks back in, grinning from ear to ear. I turn to him, raising an eyebrow. Do you know why she'd need healing salve? Every noble and their dog is out hunting right now. When a noble gets hurt, they get the best treatment we can offer. When a guard or huntsman gets hurt, however, the prince shrugs, looking glum. What he's saying is almost certainly true. No one cares much about the servants getting roughed up, and hunting is rough business. Marigold will make sure the servants get the medicine they need thanks to you. I nod politely. So, you two are old friends? Not friends, partners. The two of us are partners in crime. His grin goes so far beyond mischievous that it's hard not to roll my eyes. She's always been the one to help me slip past Raphael and out into the great unknown. He gestures in his typical dramatic fashion at a nondescript wall, willing it to be a portal to adventure through his sheer charisma. That explains why Raphael is such a boogeyman to you both. Oh, not at all. Raphael is only a boogeyman to me. Marigold actually respects him quite a lot. I nod again. Nazir talks about Marigold as we leave. It's clear that he's happy to have a friend like her. Alright, I will see you in the next video. Bye!